session at 6:02 p.m. We have 4 public hearings. Our first one is agenda item number 21, Mr. County Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, this is your first and only public hearing to adopt an ordinance amending Chapter 10 of the Land Development Code, Code of Laws, repealing and replacing Division 6 of Article 7 of Chapter 10 entitled Plats. The item requests the board conduct the public hearing to adopt the ordinance. These amendments are necessary to align county code with recent statutory changes and to comply with state mandates. Additionally, it updates relevant definitions and replaces the Plats division of the code in its entirety to ensure full regulatory alignment. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I do not have any speakers on this item. We're recommending option 1. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Staff recommendation. All right, we have staff recommendation moved by the immediate past chairman, second by Commissioner Cummings. All those, this is discussion on this. Sorry, let me reset this. Commissioner Welch, you have any discussion since you made the motion? Madam Commissioner Cummings, any discussion? You second the motion? Commissioner Cummings? Mr. Vice Chairman.
I do.
Go ahead.
Quick question. So this is changing our policies to bring the review for certain things on plats down from a quasi-judicial at the commission into one of the advisory staff or planning, and it's required by statute. Are any of these changes not required by statute? Are we adding anything that is not strictly required by statute?
There are certain things that we currently bring to the board that are holding up plat approvals. So the statutory change that was made and went into effect last year that we already modified the ordinance to address made that final plat approval administrative. But because these other things are continuing to come to the board, it's not allowing the plat approval process to be more fast and efficient like the statute requires. So there's a disconnect, and basically there are certain agreement approvals that are done right around the time final plat approval is approved. But we can't do that because they have to come back to the board, and the board only meets like once a month. And so it is slowing the process down and frustrating the whole intent of the statute that was passed last year to streamline plat approvals at the administrative level.
And so we're talking about the plat approval process. My main question is just making sure that citizens still get the same notification and opportunity to speak that are impacted by any changes to this. Is this change does not affect the big development type application review process? This is on the end when you're adjusting plats. This doesn't change development and reviews that come here.
Correct.
You got it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, we're seeing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Mr. County Administrator, next item.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, this item requests the board to conduct the first and only public hearing to consider an ordinance to establish a county ad valorem property tax exemption for rental properties that may not be eligible for existing exemptions provided by the state. The exemption would only apply to county taxes. It's anticipated to result in a nominal reduction, and of course, the board has already considered this item as a policy item before you and directed that that this ordinance come to you for first and only public hearing. We have no speaker cards on this item, and happy to answer any questions you may have. We're recommending option 1.
Mr. Vice Chairman.
Move staff recommendation.
Second.
We have the staff recommendation moved by the Vice Chairman, second by Commissioner Maddox.
Real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just thank you, staff and everybody, for supporting this change. And I asked at the prior one, if the city wanted to do something like this related to city taxes, they would. Have we given them a heads up that's something they can consider?
I believe so. I'd have to verify that for you, but I'll do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Proctor.
Chairman, who called or moved for this particular item?
The Vice Chairman.
All right, Vice Chairman, what was the purpose of this in the face of property tax exemptions and whatnot coming on the ballot? What are we doing here?
Good question. I'm glad you asked. This is for affordable housing developers. In the case that triggered this to come up is someone who buys up old hotels and turns them into studio apartments, and they rent them out, a large portion of them at 60% income levels or below, capped rent amounts, and some of them are at 40% income levels or below, some of the extreme low rental properties we need. And they, depending on the percentage they cap it at, which is very low, they get a percentage of their property taxes on those affordable units waived. And I think that as much as we invest in affordable housing on the budget side, this is a well worth it cost for directly creating very low and low income family housing units. I'll say it actually doesn't impact it immediately because this is only allows it for 50 unit complexes up to 69 units. There's not many of those, but it came up in discussion of someone who has over that amount, and I want it to be, the book to be open for someone to move forward.
May I ask the general counsel a question?
Of course.
General counsel, this is so specific in terms of tailored to size apartment units. One could misconstrue this as being a public policy set specifically for that category, but not more broadly. You have a problem with that?
No, there's actually a state statute and a state law that provides this sort of property tax exemption already. This actually fills a gap in what state law already provides for.
Very good. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Proctor. Any other discussion, commissioners? All right, seeing none, we will vote on the motion on the floor. All those in favor of staff recommendation moved by the Vice Chairman, seconded by Commissioner Maddox, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Mr. County Administrator, next item.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, this item provides for the transmittal hearing on the 2026 cycle comprehensive plan amendments to consider the transmittal of 3 proposed text amendments to the State Land Planning Agency, or Florida Commerce, and other required review agencies for review and comment. The item before the board tonight is part of the Planning Department's annual comprehensive plan amendment cycle, which provides for the processing mechanism for publicly initiated, board-initiated, and certain private amendments. Approval of the transmittal authorizes staff to submit the proposed amendments to the state level for consistency review. This action does not constitute final adoption. Rather, it initiates the mandatory 30-day state comment period. With that, Commissioners, we're recommending options 1 through 3. We have no speakers on this item. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Mr. Chairman, I move options 1 through 3.
Second. Motion on the floor moved by Commissioner Minor, seconded by myself. Any discussion?
Real quick, sir. On the First Amendment process item there, if you all remember, this is something that we talked about late last year during the comp plan rewrite. We wanted to make sure that if there were any expansions to the USA boundary or any changes any changes to rural areas and any unincorporated areas, that we had a separate agenda item. So that was making sure that it was distinct so that the public would be aware of it as well as the county commission. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. Any other discussion? Seeing none, motion on the floor moved by Commissioner Minor, seconded by myself. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Nay? No. Passes unanimously. Item number 24, Mr. County Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, this is the public hearing to consider the request for the 12th Amendment to the Southwood Development of Regional Impact Integrated Development Order. Commissioners, this item changed in terms of its recommendation and the issues that we presented to you in this item from its original version. I know you've all been, we distributed and you've received additional information for agenda item number 24. Essentially what that says, and again, the county attorney can feel free to jump in and clean this up for me, but that the dates that we were previously pumping the brakes on this item, as you know, and there was a previous recommendation to remand this item to the Planning Commission to make a part of their review the fact that the current DRI did not meet certain deadlines that we had for the completion of infrastructure. And so we needed to ensure that we had a full legal review and a consideration of all of those issues. It was subsequently requested on behalf of the applicant to have those dates told under an executive order that is currently in place. of the governor that allowed those dates and deadlines, such dates and deadlines to be told until the end until that 24 months after those deadlines to provide additional time for those counties impacted under the previous tornado executive order. Commissioners, with that, we are recommending to you to conduct the public hearing and to approve the 12th Amendment to the Southwood Development
Move
Order
staff
based on all
recommendation.
that.
Second.
And I do have one speaker card, some guy named Barry Wilcox.
Mr. Wilcox.
Just here to answer questions on behalf of the applicant.
Okay,
Move staff recommendation.
okay. You have which option, 2?
Yes, 2.
Cool, great. Staff recommendation, option 2, moved by Commissioner Maddox, seconded by Commissioner Minor. We have, did you have a question for Commissioner Cummings?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do,
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Chair. I just want to ask, in the narrative that we have, it said that a post-hearing review identified the gap, and it was a deficiency in the record. Was that deficiency found by the planning committee, or was it by staff? Do we know, Mr. County Administrator? It said a post-hearing review identified the deficiency in the evidentiary record. Was that your staff that found the deficiency, or was it the planning commission that found the deficiency?
Let me ask the county attorney to
Okay.
clarify.
So when the application was filed and planning staff conducted its review and then submitted the materials to the planning commission for consideration, the work by staff and the transmittal of the information to the planning commission happened before the deadlines expired. The planning commission met, I think, the second working day of January, right after the transportation deadlines had expired on December 31st. So the planning commission didn't consider the expiration of those construction deadlines, and there was nothing in their findings about it, which is why staff, DSIM staff, and county attorney staff was also in support of remanding it to the planning commission so they could take those missed deadlines for those construction issues for the transportation into consideration to provide their recommendation, the planning commission's recommendation to this board.
So the post-hearing review was done by staff and not by the planning commission that found the gap, right?
Right, yes. And that was based on feedback of various parties, including residents of Southwood, who pointed out, hey, this was not considered, this was not part of the application that was submitted for the 12th Amendment. And so staff looked at it and said, yeah, the Planning Commission's review is incomplete because it didn't consider these issues. And so that's why staff was recommending the remand.
Okay, one other question, Mr. Chair. If it's remanded back to the planning commission to address the gap, do we have an idea how long that review takes?
So that's no longer the recommendation because St. Joe, under the Chapter 252 emergency statutes, basically Friday, this past Friday, exercised its right to toll those deadlines and extend their deadlines for an additional 24 months after the executive order expires. So it's kind of wonky the way the statute works, but it effectively means there's no noncompliance and there hasn't been any noncompliance, and they're in compliance currently. So it addressed the issue without it having to go back to the Planning Commission.
Okay, thank you.
This was in our inbox. Okay, Commissioner O'Keefe, I'm sorry, Commissioner Cummings, was that it?
I'm done, thank you.
Mr. Vice Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. County Attorney and County Administrator and staff, thank you for working so diligently on this up to the 11th hour. When we vote on this, I do want to, at a high level, make it clear that we are voting on an amendment to the plan that is not to do anything for the master developer. This is about some commercial space another area of the master plan that just got caught up in a enforcement decision on the master developer. And I appreciate staff doing the work to make sure that we understand what the rules are for enforcements and amendments when the master developer may have been out of compliance, not this applicant. And so that's why I support voting for this. But I do have some questions, and because this is the only amendment to the DRI we have in front of us, I have some questions about the statute and the letter and the change related to the master developer and the deadline. The tornadoes that led to the emergency order were in spring 2024, right? And was it in June 2024 that the master developer asked us to vote to amend the DRI to give them an extra year on the road deadlines?
I think that's right.
And they didn't mention this emergency order and the need for the time extension at that time?
Not at that time.
Okay. And and this is by statute, we don't have any discretion on that deadline.
We do not.
And we verified 2027, the 24 months is what is allowed here.
That's correct.
Okay. And then does this, I know this is theoretical, so you can push it right back to me, but under this statute, if there's God forbid there's not, but if there's new natural disasters and emergency orders, that could also be requested by the master developer to extend the time for their road development.
Or if, and please, County Attorney, or if the existing EO is extended.
Is extended.
So there would have to be an analysis of, because the statute has a cap of 48 months that they can use under that statute to extend their timeframes. But there are two components. There's a tolling component while the executive order is in effect. And as you point out, that executive order was issued in 2024 and has been extended since then. It's currently expected to expire April 20th of this year, but there's nothing to say that the governor can't extend that EO again. So that tolling is going until the EO expires, or whatever extension is currently in effect of that EO. That's when that additional time starts to run again. But in this case, what happened was you basically have to relate back the tolling to when the EO was initially issued in 2024, which is why when you look at the time that's now set, it's more than 24 months, because they basically get credit for that additional time up to December 31st of 2025. Now, to your question about what happens if there's another emergency order issued for like a hurricane, they can definitely avail themselves of the tolling. It'll be questionable based on the number of months, if they've reached that 48-month cap for an extension, if they would get any subsequent extensions as well. But certainly, yes, they can continue to toll under new EOs going forward, potentially. Yep.
And last question, for the main, Appendix G has two road requirements. For the larger road requirement, the north-south road connecting Suter to, I think, Biltmore, that parallels South Plantation Road. What was the original, before any amendments or delays, was the original due date for that to be construction started?
You really tested me on that one. I'd have to ask Scott to come up and see if he can.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you, Scott Brockmeyer, DSIM. So the schedule of internal roadway improvements that you're referring to, that was added to the DRI-DO, I believe, in 2011, and then the date that was adopted subsequent to then was 2020. That was changed with the 10th Amendment, AKA the Big Fix.
Okay, so just so the microphone can just confirm. When the obligation was to build this road by the master developer was first added to the DRI was in 2011. And at that time, the deadline for them to begin construction was 2020.
Correct.
And since then, through multiple voluntary extensions that this commission has voted on, and now after they were late on the most recent deadline and we started asking about it, now we have a request to apply this completely legal statute. Perfect. These are the questions I asked, and I appreciate you taking your time on this because this is novel and new, and I appreciate you doing everything within our power to hold people accountable to the agreements they've made. And I just want our Southwood residents and our Appalachia Parkway residents to know we're doing everything we can to make sure we hold the obligations of others for our necessary infrastructure. Thank you.
All right, commissioners, I don't see anyone else in the queue for discussion, so,
Is it option 2? That's on.
yes, ma'am. So we have a motion moved by Commissioner Maddox, seconded by Commissioner Minor, I believe, for staff recommendation, option 2.
Right.
All those in favor of the motion on the floor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Passes unanimously. Thank you, commissioners. I think that concludes our public hearings, right, Commissioner County Administrator?
Correct, Mr. Chairman. We're back on the Citizen Charter Amendment.
Correct. So we're, commissioners, so we're all clear into, so there's no confusion. We are back on item number 20. And Commissioner Maddox has a motion on the floor for option 5B, and that is seconded by the vice chairman. Does anyone understand where we are? Everyone understand? Okay, great. Vice Chairman, you are recognized.
Thank you. I want to, again, emphasize that this motion to advance the proposed charter amendment, codifying our trust fund into the charter, is the recommendation of the Citizens Committee. And I believe that when we talk about values being in a charter amendment, that the voters can decide individually, no separation between they vote for commissioners, commissioner votes for things. Individual ballots get to decide what they think should match our values and what's important. Values should drive policy. Values should drive spending. Values should drive what we carry on with our strategy. That's the basis of it. And so I'm supporting putting this amendment, charter amendment up for a vote because I want to give the voters a chance to let us know if we need to do more. So there's a benefit to putting it in charter as opposed to just being in policy. I want the voters to tell us if they care about this trust fund so much that they are locking it in, that they don't want any future commission to have the ability to delete or remove the trust fund. I want the voters to be able to decide that they want to prevent any future commission from defunding, taking out, sweeping funds that are already in the trust fund and for some other use. Let's let the voters tell us. The reason I was very excited to see this, and I was hoping it would come out of it when we appointed all of our citizens to the committee that recommended this to us, is I think to a certain extent, what we're seeing is what the state sees. To a very small extent. Don't want this commission to take it as a slight. I think what we've seen as the past couple years, as community groups keep pushing for more affordable housing, is that I think the majority of our citizenry doesn't think we're doing enough. They don't think we're not doing anything, but they think we should be doing more. And I think a direct referendum would be the way for them to tell us. The other reason is, and so what I mean by that is, we have we have citizen-led initiatives to be state constitutional amendments. And what we've seen is things that ought to be policy at the state level are not put in place by the legislature, contrary to what the vast majority of Florida voters want. And so the voters have to find a way around, and they have to do it by constitutional amendment, and that's unfortunate. Ideally, we want to follow, theoretically, the right government structure, but when citizens continually elect people, and those people are not listening to them on what they want them to do by policy, enough that a significant portion will vote or gather signatures to get them on, to me that tells me that's an important enough values statement. That's just not a program. And here's the benefit. Staff, it's been great that we are building on the experience and decisions of prior commissions that have created a trust fund. We're not creating anything new. If we don't vote for this, the trust fund doesn't go away. But if we vote for this and we give the citizens the option to enshrine the trust fund and say, we want this permanent and we don't want anyone to possibly take it away. It also does not require an annual budget amount. It does not require new departments. It does not require new audits. It simply requires that we do not sweep funds out of the trust fund once they are in there, and that the trust fund stays in operation until the citizens decide it should be removed the charter. And that's why I strongly support us to let the voters tell us what the citizens committee has already told us they want to weigh in on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Before I go to Commissioner Welch, Mr. County Administrator, will you chime in here?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a real quick one. The motion on the floor, I would just like to bring to the board's attention, reflects, is 5B and reflects that the CRC would go to public hearings on this. I just wanted to remind the board that the board has the ability to make this a board-initiated amendment too, if you'd like to compress that schedule. It's really just a preference thing if you want the CRC to do their public hearings or if you want to make it a board-initiated amendment, which would accelerate the process.
Thank you. And then, just point of clarification. We'll have language come back to us, right, on some of these, on all these?
Yes,
Okay.
in your final report. Majority plus one.
Board appoint?
Yes, for a board-initiated amendment.
Commissioner Welch, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. Maddox, I hate to do this again, but in order to be consistent, and again, Commissioner O'Keefe, Mr. Vice Chair, yeah, I think the reason that the legislature wants to make the Constitution hard to amend is because these are policy issues that can go through a policy-making body. Number one, I think this is, again, more than a value statement. This is a policy statement. And I think we have to be consistently with the other issues. The same logic applies. As I have said before, we should be very careful about making broad political statements, policy statements from the dais political statements from the dais, but policy statements in a foundational document. And I think the case is even stronger in this one because this is already codified in our ordinances. This trust fund exists in our ordinances. It is already codified. And if I'm not mistaken from my briefing, how many counties, Mr. Administrator, have this codified in their charter?
I believe it's 4.
And of those 4, how many have it codified in ordinance?
I'm not sure about that part of it. We'd have to.
I think you said none. No?
Well, it was, I think the point there was some of those charters didn't have a trust fund established at that time.
So I
Commissioner
take
Welch,
that back.
Commissioner Welch, he has a point of information real quick.
Okay.
Per Robert's rules, I got to defer to him.
Thank you. In the CCRC's staff items from staff, you gave the example of Orange County, which did have an ordinance by policy trust fund, and their voters voted to enshrine it in charter. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Back to you, Commissioner Welch.
So outside of Orange County, we have a codified ordinance that upholds the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, which I think we've stated and we all believe is important to us. I don't envision a world in which that would be voted away in any way, shape, or form. So again, it really is, it's about maintaining the integrity of the charter. To the administrator's point, if you start injecting policy positions into the charter like this, then what's to stop you from injecting every policy position into the charter? If the charter is a foundational document and you keep, drilling pillars into the foundation, you're going to eventually break the foundation. These are trusses. Policy is the truss of the house. It's the keeping the rain out. It's not the foundation is the Constitution, and it's sort of meant to be a broad, firm, not easily targeted item metaphorically. So I would, in that vein, offer for the board's consideration a substitute motion for option A, 5A.
So we have a substitute motion brought before the board by the immediate past chairman for staff recommendation, option 4A. Do we have a second to the substitute motion?
5A.
I'm sorry, 5A. My apologies, commissioners. Substitute motion for 5A. Do we have a second to the motion?
I will second it.
Okay. Seconded by Commissioner Cummings. You have any other discussion?
No, sir.
Okay. Commissioner Cummings?
No discussion.
Okay. Commissioners, I don't see anyone else in the queue. I intend to support the substitute motion. I'm very proud of the work that Leon County is doing to support affordable housing. I think when it comes to Leon County and local governments, I think we are the leaders for our local community when it comes to affordable housing. Does that mean that there's always room to improve? Absolutely. Does that mean that we are going to do more? Absolutely. Does that mean that we can't embody the spirit of what is trying to happen through this? I agree, we can do it through a policy. We can do it as commissioners. And so I intend that Commissioner Welch, I think we should make sure that we have a follow-up with staff to come back and follow up as a policy recommendation as well. So that being said, I don't see anyone else in the queue. We have a substitute motion for staff recommendation for option 5A, moved by Commissioner Welch, seconded by Commissioner Cummings. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
You were yes? Okay. Against, okay. Passes 4-3 with Commissioner Welch, myself, Commissioner Cummings, and Commissioner Minor in the affirmative. Next item. Mr. County Administrator, number 6.
Number 6 is for the board's authorization of a proclamation for the committee.
Commissioners, I think we can wrap up 6 through 8 in one motion if someone would like to move them.
So move.
Okay, we have options 6 through 8, moved by Commissioner Proctor, seconded by Commissioner Cummings. Any discussion? Commissioner O'Keefe, I see you in the queue.
6 only.
Go ahead.
I think we're seeking 6 only.
Oh, I'm sorry. 6.
For the proclamation.
Got it, okay. We have number 6. So Commissioner Proctor, will you amend that?
Move.
Seconded by Commissioner Cummings still?
Yes.
Great. Yes, Commissioner O'Keefe.
Quick procedural question. After this, if we have items we want to suggest adding, do you want us to do it at this item or wait till discussion time?
Let's do it in this item.
Thank you. That's all.
All right. All in favor of for option number 6, moved by Commissioner Proctor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. All right, Commissioners, at this time, I will entertain motion to bring up any other items to discuss before the board relative to the charter-related or ballot initiative charter amendments. Commissioner O'Keefe.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion for a board initiative charter amendment to ask voters to establish an Office of Inspector General consistent with the principles of standards for Office of Inspector General by the Association of Inspectors Generals as recommended by some of the speakers.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, moved by Commissioner O'Keefe, the Vice Chairman, to repeat the motion.
To ask for a commission-initiated charter amendment vote referendum on establishing a Leon County Office of Inspector General.
Okay, is there a second? Motion fails for a lack of a second. Any other items to discuss, Commissioner O'Keefe? Okay, Commissioner Minor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I didn't second the motion on the table just now because I don't know if we're ready for it yet. I've met with some citizens, the Citizens for Ethics Reform, twice. Had some really good discussions about Office of Inspectors General. I think it's worth exploring. I think it's worth further discussion, particularly along the lines of the whistleblower protections. I don't want to put the county attorney on the spot, but one thing I wanted to ask her and didn't get a chance to was with Florida statutes and current county policy.
Commissioner Minor, we need a motion. We need a motion.
Yes, I have a motion. I move that we ask the county attorney to provide an agenda item at a future date, providing information about whistleblower protections within county government under Florida statutes.
Second. You second it? Okay. Agenda item requested by Commissioner Minor, seconded by the Vice Chairman. Any discussion? Repeat the motion.
So I move that the county attorney's office produce an agenda item at a future date explaining the whistleblower protections that are available to county employees within our policies here at the county as well as Florida law.
Can you expand that to outside of county employees as well, just whistleblower protection in general? Like, 'cause we've-
Oh, as a friendly amendment? Yes, of
Yeah,
course.
Okay,
Yes.
awesome. I say that for nonprofits and stuff too that we
Yeah,
work with, yeah.
Sure, yes.
Seconded by
Yeah.
the Vice Chairman. Commissioners, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Passes unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Great. Commissioners, Commissioner Proctor, go ahead.
Chairman, two things. The 9-9 vote on the charter, what was the 9-9 vote that failed? Huh?
Restorative communities vote? Is restorative communities vote?
Restoration from harmful policies, help me. Oh, sorry. Harmful policies, I'm sorry. I'm calling. Okay. No, I just needed the title.
Or
Yes,
arm.
restoring, yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm curious about that because, go ahead, Vince.
No, I was just going to ask you if you could just repeat the question. We're happy to.
The 9-9 vote, it had.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And are we able to entertain a failed vote, one that didn't get?
Sure, the board is able to entertain any vote that you'd like. Again, we prepared agenda materials for the board to consider. If that was an issue that the board wanted to, you have all the flexibility. You could accept it, you could reject it, you could modify, you can ask for an item to come back to the
Commissioners,
board on.
I was concerned about the 9-9 vote that failed, and
Commissioner Proctor, we gotta have a motion.
I don't remember what it was.
It was called, it was addressing historic harm. Is what, and to develop programs and policies and investments among the county to address issues of, and conduct audits, to develop policies and programs and budgeting to address historic harm in communities that have experienced historic harm.
Okay, so now 32304,
Commissioner Proctor, gotta have a motion. Sorry.
for discussion, I want to take that failed motion and move that we consider the 9-9 vote.
Second.
So I don't know what we're talking about, so I need more clarification.
I might take a stab at a motion, Commissioner Proctor, if you allow me.
Yeah,
Rescind your motion, Commissioner Proctor.
rescind the motion.
Okay, Commissioner O'Keefe.
I'd like to make a motion that the commission establish a charter amendment to consider the historic impact of past public policy decisions and with regular audits of it as described during the CCRC commission.
Second. Commissioners, I'm sorry, I second.
Yes, you can discuss
I
it.
can second, okay.
You're on the
Okay,
floor,
good,
you're on the
good.
floor, Commissioner Proctor.
Explains what it is.
Dr. Struble, if you might tell us what y'all debated and brought.
Hey, Bruce.
It ended up in a 9-9.
You're good, 3 minutes.
While he's on the way up, though, this would take a supermajority vote.
That's what I was just going to weigh in and say, it would take this motion would take a supermajority vote, majority plus one, but if you wanted the item agended, that's just a simple majority vote. So just for your consideration.
If it's
If we-
agenda, can we agenda item?
Yes, you have time.
We have time
we have
before
time.
I'll modify my motion to agenda item.
Okay.
Can I ask you to
Maintain this-
modify the
yeah,
motion?
maintain this
Not
six.
only on point. Can I ask you to modify the motion to not just agenda the item, but to also open it up to also being considered to going back to public hearing for the CRC, understanding that for a commission-led initiative, it takes a supermajority versus a CRC initiative that's going through public hearing and come back to us? It takes a simple majority?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so they would go to a special.
Do you maintain your second on the
I do,
amendment?
yes, sir.
Okay.
But point of information, so they would take up a special hearing on, we're remanding, not
Correct.
remanding, but asking them to consider that again and therefore reconvening, because we have, we're supposed to dismiss them with, dissolve the Citizen Charter Commission number 9, but we're not dissolving them. We're asking them to go back and take another look. Are we allowed to come to the meetings and talk? I've been to 3, 4 meetings but I never talk, because
I think they'd expect nothing less, Commissioner Buckner.
I didn't, duct tape,
They don't want you to.
duct tape, and I didn't say a
Mr. Chair, I
word.
need clarification on what the motion is. What is the motion?
Commissioner Proctor, please let the Vice Chairman restate the motion.
Thank you. The motion, I feel like I'm taking a test. The motion is to have an agenda item come back to consider a charter amendment and directing it back to be considered for public hearing by the CCRC, given that they only require a simple majority, to consider a charter amendment accounting for past harms and impacts of past public policy and regular audits and reports of those impacts to inform our future policy decisions.
On point.
Great.
Rather than us getting to Mr. Strobel's explanation of it, given the fact that it's going to be an agenda item coming back, and I'm pretty sure we all watched some of this, can we just have the agenda item coming back with the narrative that came from the CRC, as well as staff's analysis of it that will look similar to what we've already considered here? 'Cause I don't want to get into a big, drawn-out conversation when we're only talking about bringing it back for an agenda item. It's going to
Yeah, I
give us
agree,
all the
I agree.
information.
Agenda item to us.
And I think if I'm, Commissioners, I think it would be also who of us to, if we're sending it back to the CCRC, to have that agenda item come back after they deliberate it again. Because it changes whether it's a simple majority or supermajority based on how they vote on it again. Correct?
So it's going to the,
The other thing the board could do, not to muddy it, the other thing that the board could do is to simply approve the CRC's amendment and to refer it to their public hearings. You could do that on a simple majority vote.
what is the amendment?
Commissioners, I'm at the will of the board on this, so. I have Commissioner Cummings right now in the
Oh,
queue.
I'm sorry.
No,
This was not.
Are you intentionally in the queue?
No, okay. Sorry about
I
that.
was, I just
Yeah,
still need clarification.
yeah, no, I missed, that's what I thought you were saying. Yeah.
Commissioners,
We can,
Commissioner Cummings is in the
Yeah.
queue. Commissioner Cummings?
no, I just have some uncertainty about what we're doing. Are we asking for an agenda item to come back to us, or are we sending it back
coming to us.
to the CC? It's coming to us.
Both, no?
No, it's coming to us
First,
first, and if we approve it, then it will go back to them.
Gotcha.
So instead of us having a conversation around the information from it now, not knowing all of the information, all the information will come back to us. We'll have a robust discussion about it, and then we will say whether or not we want it to go back to the CRC.
But we're time limited on sending
Yeah.
it back to them for their two public hearings.
Commissioners, let me clean this up a little bit real quick. I think the move here is to send it to the CCRC simultaneously, because if it comes back to our board, right, without it being passing the CCRC, it's a supermajority, versus if it passes the CCRC, it's a simple majority. So it impacts what happens here, whether it's 4 votes or 5 votes. So I think it needs to go back to the CCRC and then come back to our board if the spirit is, that's my opinion.
Rather
Quite
than-
frankly, I disagree only because if we don't have enough votes to send it back to the CRC, there's no point in us having them meet and send it back to us. We ain't got 4 votes to send it back to them. I think I want us to be certain about sending it back to them before we ask them to come back together to meet for something that's going to be sent back to us.
Yeah.
And we ain't even got 4 votes.
I understand I get what you're saying with the 4 votes. I think we're gonna have 4 votes. I think that it's whether or not there's 4 votes or 5 votes. That's kind of what I'm getting at, but I hear what you're saying. So, Commissioners, let's vote on the motion on the floor, right? I don't want to keep
Wait,
beating it.
real quick.
Okay, close this out, Commissioner Minor.
Yes, thank you very much. Could you please restate the motion as it currently stands, just so we're all clear? Because we've talked about a lot of permutations of it.
Thank you. It is to bring an agenda item back for our commission to consider the issue of a charter amendment that takes into account the impact of past policy decisions and regular audits or reports of the impacts of those decisions, similar to what was discussed by the CCRC, for us to consider voting on as an agenda item whether to ask the CCRC to reconsider it. Is that what you had in mind, Commissioner? And Commissioner,
You just No, we're not asking, we're asking them to take it to public hearing.
Then for them to take it to public hearing.
Yes, we're taking, we would give direction that they would take it to public hearing.
Exactly as go ahead.
No?
If it passes.
Commissioners,
Okay.
I want to keep it one at a time right now. We're getting too much back
Point
and
of
forth.
order.
Correct.
So the board would need to reconvene the CCRC to basically take another vote to determine whether it would go to public hearing for them. Because again, that vote failed before the CCRC. So they would, it would need to go back to them for basically reconsideration to vote again whether to advance it and hold the public hearings on this particular
So it would take two
proposal.
votes? So they would have to advance it and then come back to us, and then we send it back to them for public hearing?
So what I would recommend, if you guys want to send this back to the CCRC, is not to have an agenda item come back here. Instead, say, we direct the CCRC to reconvene and reconsider a vote on this issue. They vote again, and if they vote in an affirmative vote, it has to come back to this body anyway.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to say by saying it simultaneously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, it was a
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, it was a 9-9 vote. I don't know where the 19th member was that day, but among the amendments that were taken up, if I had to give kudos to staff, it was the most exquisite, intellectually and artfully handled of those amendments. I want to compliment Attorney Osteen for her guidance and, not telling the committee what to do, but this is a very touchy stuff that members of the committee in times like these hold great sensitivities. And we want to know that our place is not taking us back to slavery. We want to know that just because we black, we don't get a check. Our grant runs out just simply because. So there's great concern with our American place. And though we can't speak to the broad strokes of America, but within the county of Leon, this board was concerned with an empathetic government that so much language has been taken away from what we can say and what's not palatable anymore. But I want to compliment Attorney Osteen, her admonitions, and how this particular, this was the most perhaps sensitive issue, and the way y'all handled this was very beautiful. This was my favorite issue taken up. And how it ended up in a 9-9, I don't know, but I think that it's worth speaking of values of a community, from my perspective. When you start selling people, dead people in the golf course and putting them up in a deed, it's scary. So it's worth our empathy with the caliber of discussion that occurred, that if they could go back and take another bite, it could be helpful for us. I didn't know that we could take up a failed amendment, but I know it was the best deliberated, in my opinion. It was the best deliberated of all of the issues. And others may disagree, but I felt that Chastity, your shiniest moment was on this particular issue. And I thought that the way they handled it, and language is a major thing right now, Commissioner Maddox. There are words you just can't say, but they really chiseled this. And I think it has a place, I personally believe it has a place somewhere in our charter.
Thank you, Commissioner Parker. Commissioner Welch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to ask staff, what would the implications, well, first let me ask, just so we're in the right, I don't understand the posture. I'm going to get confused tonight, I'm sorry. So what, the motion is asking to bring back an item to us, is that the posture we're in?
Correct.
Like an agenda item for us to consider either putting on the charter review, or on the ballot or not?
No, it's to reconvene it's an agenda item to us, I believe, to reconvene the charter committee to take this back up, correct?
And then if we, Okay, so hypothetically, then if that happens, then they send it, they pass it, then it comes back to us again.
Correct.
But then it's only a simple majority vote versus
They pass it.
if they pass it. Can staff tell us what the implications of this would be on the DEI bills that are in the legislature?
By the way, I just saw in the news that
It
passed.
just passed, yeah, it passed since we've been convened. We would.
Passed both houses of the legislature?
Yes, yes. We would have to do an analysis on this. But I think a lot of the guidance that was provided by the county attorney's office to the committee would be consistent with the bill currently. Again, I don't have to tell this board, the bill provides sweeping changes in the area of what you can and can't do, and also comes with penalties of misfeasance or malfeasance on local officials relative to the promotion, the investment, the programming, funding of issues that are considered to be race-specific and gender-specific and that sort of thing. Again, we'd have to do more analysis. It just passed. It was getting amended feverishly in the waning hours of the legislative session. And so we would have to bring that analysis back to you on what, but I think it's safe to say that a lot of the guidance that was provided by the county attorney to the committee would be pretty consistent.
Thank you. Commissioner Welch, are your comments wrapped up? That's it. Okay. Commissioner Maddox, can you posture us in a place to land this plane?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So, a couple of things. First, I watched that conversation, and Commissioner Proctor, you might have been there. It was very well talked about. A lot of detail came out, and one of the things that struck me most was the county attorney did speak and say, well, you can't not do it. It'll be very nuanced in the way you do it, because you can't create a protected class because of the DEI stuff that's going on. And so she said she would have to be very careful in the way we talked about this thing. And so, you know, when I think about it on its face and what it does, what came to mind for me was what CRAs are doing right now in our blighted communities. Now it's defined by blight, but if you think about some of the policies that may have been enacted that created the blight that happened within those communities, you can't deny that something similar to this could be seen as such. And so when I thought about it on its face, when I thought about what I wanted to do with it, I didn't think as much about race. I thought a lot about you know, poverty and class and stuff like that, but I didn't think as much about race. And so, you know, I'm battling with it because I do understand that the conversations the county attorney was having. But I also, like I said, know what my lived experiences are, one, but two, know what communities like Frenchtown, Woodville, other communities look like that might have been affected by policies that happened far before us that could have advanced them more. And so, is that an issue of race? Even Fort Brady would be an issue of race if you looked at that area and thought about policies that might have created some of the situations out there. I don't think all those people out there are one race or the other. I think it's an issue of strictly how policy might have harmed. And so, the other part that had me thinking was that, well, I might want to take a whack at it today. At a board, you might have been going down the right road to see if the board would be willing to make this a board initiative, or do we send it back? Because, you know, that committee has spoken. I just don't know where I want to be. So I think I'm going to go down the road of dealing with the agenda item. It's a bit cumbersome process because I just don't know that we're ready yet, because I don't think we have as much information as that committee had. But I do want us to understand that no matter how it's framed, this doesn't have to be about DEI. This doesn't have to be about race. This doesn't have to be about gender. This can be about something else. This can be about policy that have hurt communities. and kept them from being able to thrive. If you look at what happened in the Smoky Hollow community, if you look what happened, and look at some of our more impoverished communities that we deal with, Miccosukee, chairs, all around our county, even within our city, you know, some of the south side areas, you know. So I don't think this has to be wrapped up in race. I just see another way for us to do this, to where if we do it the right way, it could be more about the policies that were created that harm communities than it is about studying race-related, gender-related, DEI, protected class type of things. But as the county attorney said during the meeting, and I think you were going down this road, but you stopped. You was like, well, in a way, sometimes by doing the studies, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I was kind of following your thought, you could create a protected class by doing it in a way. I don't know, but to me, it's something that we could dig into more, and I'm just not ready to give up on it. So I'll support the motion on the floor.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioners, we're gonna vote on the motion on the floor. All right, we've deliberated this a lot. So, all right, was it a motion or substitute motion? Motion moved by Commissioner, the Vice Chairman, seconded by Commissioner Proctor. All those in favor of the motion on the floor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Motion passes 6-1. Thank you, Commissioners. Any other items related to charter amendments to discuss?
No, Mr. Chairman, I thank you for allowing me to discuss
Okay, Commissioners.
that matter.
I have one that I would like to discuss, and hopefully one of my wonderful colleagues will move this on my behalf. But I'm looking for a motion to amend the charter or put forth on the ballot to update the language so that if there is a conflict between ordinances between the city and the county, that county ordinances will prevail. And so if anyone willing to make that motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion that in the potentiality that there's a conflict of ordinances between city and county, we place for the public a charter amendment that would signal that the county's language prevails when there is a conflict on the same ordinance, the same rule.
Okay, we have a motion moved by Commissioner Proctor, second by Commissioner Cummings. I'm going to lead the discussion here, Commissioners. Listen, I know that we deliberated this in the past. I think this aligns with our straw poll mentality of asking the voters really who they want to be the leader for our community. The biggest single-handed reason why I think this policy, this ordinance in the charter needs to change is because of annexation, purely. As the city continues to annex more and more property, our boundaries for which we set policy becomes smaller. And I think for all of us across Leon County, when we look at what's happening, the city is continuing to expand their footprint. You know, we are told that via state law and state statute, we have to approve that. And so I think this also aligns with, there's policies that empower the city and how they use the utility in unincorporated areas. And so I really think that this is a great cleanup charter amendment. And at the end of the day, the voters will decide, and I think that is the most important. So Commissioners, I see a few commissioners in discussion. Commissioner Welch, I'll let you go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Staff, this is for you guys. Can you remind me, because I know we talked about this, I think pretty well when we were contemplating formulating the Charter Review Commission. Isn't there already an ordinance or somewhere where the city does this? Or where, is it planning or?
Environmental.
Environmental permitting, that's right.
Yeah, there is already a very narrow provision in the charter that basically creates a floor for environmental standards.
Right.
The county establishes that, and the city can exceed those environmental
But they gotta
standards.
meet
They
it.
just can't go below the floor.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, and so this would So this is very similar then to the item about addressing or street changing, and it sort of runs, as you said, parallel to the question, the bigger question about consolidation. You would agree those kind of, okay. So it's in the same vein, right? And the implications of this would then be that the county, whatever floor the county sets for any ordinance, the city has to meet or exceed, is that right?
No, so under the Florida Constitution, in our charter, there has to be an express provision whether in the event of a conflict, our ordinances prevail or the city's ordinances prevail. And currently, our charter defers to city ordinances with the sole exception of the floor for environmental standards. So right now, we defer to the city ordinances.
Okay, now that begs my next question. Historically, why? Was that a previous commission charter idea, or was that in the original charter? Has that ever been considered by a charter review?
It has, and just to jump on which it has, and it is so because it reflects existing general law, is that city ordinances are in effect within the city, and county ordinances are in effect, and have deference inside the county. So again, it's a reflection of that. But Chastity's right in terms of that the Constitution provides that a charter county can determine, to the extent that they conflict, which ordinances prevail.
So when you say reflects in law, you mean reflects in ordinance or state law?
In state law, it is that.
I'm talking about, you said it reflects in law that the city.
Yes, our charter reflects state law.
Which is that cities.
Yes, that cities' ordinances prevail inside the city.
But you just said state law provides that counties, charter counties can reverse that?
It can.
Correct.
Okay, so the state law says that it is, but then we can overrule that? I'm a little confused.
Go ahead, Chastity.
So it can be different here for charter and non-charter counties.
Okay.
So if you're a non-charter county, the default under state law is city ordinances prevail in the event of conflict within city limits. But once Leon County became a charter county, one of the few requirements in the Florida Constitution when you become a charter county is the charter has to say, in the event of a conflict of an ordinance between a city and a county, the charter has to be clear which prevails. And so just when we became a charter county, there was a vote as part of that process to become a charter county to maintain basically, I think, what Vince was responding to is the status quo for non-charter counties and basically defer to the city when their ordinances conflict with ours.
Gotcha.
But charter counties get to choose.
Gotcha. So we're voting now to put this on the charter. Do we have any idea where this applies in charter counties across the state? How many do this versus the other?
We did. We provided an analysis for you back when the board considered this issue. I believe there are no charter counties that currently provide the blanket preemption, if you will. But there are counties that do delineate on specific issues like our environmental ordinance.
Yeah, I got you. All right, so thank you guys. So my feeling on that is we're dad blame charter county. All right. I mean, we exist under the Florida Constitution. The city is an incorporated entity that exists under state policy law, right? So to me, the Constitution of the state should trump that sort of, like, whatever the word is, giving away that authority to the city. So I would support putting that before voters to see what they think. I mean, it kind of runs in the same vein. I imagine it'd be interesting to see how those votes line up, right? Like if this one is like 55-45 and the consolidation one's like 60-40, like it'd be interesting to see. So, I'll support this recommendation.
Thank you, Commissioner Welch. One thing also, can you clarify, Madam Attorney? So could we have it set to where, so let's say, for example, like where the ceiling, if let's say this passes, Leon County ordinance would be the ceiling. The city can still choose, they can go underneath that, theoretically, right? So like on environmental, so like for an example, like this is only if there's a conflict, they can't go past whatever our policy is. But if we set, something or say anything needs to close at this time, or, we're not going to allow X, Y, and Z, they can only go up to that point. Does that make sense? You follow what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to give an example in environmental policy, how that would be comparable, right?
Yeah, so again, right now, we've set a floor.
Correct.
And so we say, hey, if you want to set stricter guidelines than this, city, you're welcome to, but you cannot go below the minimum environmental standards that we establish as a county. And I know that the history of that was just to establish some consistency and some minimums, again, related to that specific issue. But basically, if this were to pass, staff would have to do an analysis and determine where there are current conflicts and what to do about those. And then prospectively, anytime we were going to adopt an ordinance, we would have to do basically what we do now anyway, which is evaluate whether the city has a different ordinance. The difference here would be theirs currently prevails in the city limits. And so the county has exercised its authority to adopt unincorporated county ordinances and just have some regulations apply in the unincorporated area. And the city could, or the county could continue to do that. I mean, we don't have to preempt everything in the city by ordinance. It just becomes much more discretionary and something that from an analysis perspective, that information would have to be provided by staff to the board.
So it could give us the option if needed to, but we don't have to, what you're saying.
That's correct.
Correct, okay. Commissioner Minor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, appreciate it. One thing I don't think we've spent enough time talking about is what are the implications, right? If, let's say we do the charter amendment, it's on the ballot, it passes, city ordinances that conflict with county ordinances would be invalidated, correct?
No, she said we would have the option, basically, if we wanted to preempt it. But go ahead, I apologize, sir.
Well, typically what would practically speaking have to be done is there would have to be some prospective date by which that provision would become effective to allow time for staff to conduct that analysis and address those existing inconsistencies.
And we're talking about, possibly, just an order of magnitude, we could be talking about hundreds of ordinances.
We have an extensive code and they have an extensive code. Yeah.
I'm okay with the motion on the floor and having an agenda item come back because we will see the language of what this charter amendment would be before we vote on it a final time, correct? We'll do a public hearing of it as well. But I want this agenda item to talk as much as it possibly can about what the implications are.
This is not, the motion on the floor is not for an agenda item right now because we're on an agenda item related to it. So he was basically directing them to come back with ballot language, was the motion.
But it's still going to come back to us.
Correct.
With the ballot language. That's what I
Correct.
mean. That's what I mean.
Correct,
Because in other words, we're going to see it again.
correct. All these items, we're going to see again.
Yep. But I want that agenda item to talk as much as possible about the implications of this. Because we all represent people that live in the city. 2/3 of the people we represent are in the city. And so what we do here affects them, it affects those of us who live in the city. And I don't know if any of us here on the dais can mention even one example of what this would do for an ordinance. Can you mention one ordinance that this would affect and how this might affect the city ordinances? There's a reason why when the county was chartered, that the county commissioners at that time voted to let the city make their own decisions. The city represents vastly the urban area of this county. And so ordinances that apply to the city are fit within an urban model, right? They've got overall, they have a different demographic with different conditions, different dynamics. So for us just to blanket, have a charter amendment where, as in a phased-in approach, we would take a look at these ordinances one by one, but I want this agenda item to come back to us with the ballot language, but also making sure that we have as good an understanding as possible about what the implications are. I mean, it's great to pump out our chest and say, we've got the authority, we're going to put our foot down and we're going to control the city. That feels good to say, right? But at the end of the day, we're responsible for running a government reasonably and partnering with our city, of which many of us live in, to make sure that the people's lives that that we're here to serve are having a high quality of life. I mean, that's what we're really all here for. Not to see who's got the biggest stick to throw around and try to throw around our power. It's about helping the people who live here and having the highest quality of life. And so the agenda item that comes back has to talk as much as possible about the implications of this, because my vote on that when it comes back will be determined on, is this going to help out the quality of life of the people who live here? Not whether or not county commission can throw its weight around and act all big and tough. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, go ahead.
Commissioner Minor, I missed that part. You said something about percentages of city and the county or something like that, like?
Well, yeah, just on point, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, so I mean, we all represent people that live in the city, right? I mean, we all represent people that live in the city. I mean, it's
Right,
so
right.
we have a vested interest in making sure that city residents
Right.
have a high quality life. I mean, we need to get along with the city government. I don't agree with a lot of what they do, but we need to get along and coexist with them.
Right, but like my feeling on that, and this is just neither here nor there, right? I think like 75% of my district is in the city, but 100% of my district is in the county, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the way I think about that.
Commissioner, are you done? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Commissioner Cummings has been waiting in the queue. I accidentally skipped her.
Okay.
Yeah, Commissioner Cummings.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. You know, I'm concerned with us keeping down as much discord as we can, trying to work with the city who represents all of our constituents, because all of our constituents are county citizens within the city as well. I don't have a big problem, Mr. Chair, about the agenda item coming back, and it's for us to decide whether or not we would have a proposed amended charter saying that ordinances that conflict with city ordinances, the county would prevail. That's in essence what we're asking them to bring back?
Correct. Only when there's a conflict.
That's what I'm saying. When it
Correct.
conflicts with the city ordinance, the county prevails. Now, let me ask the county attorney. This would go on the ballot if it's an amendment to the charter. So what happens if it fails? If our voters don't agree with it? We are back where we are now, right?
Correct.
Correct. It's status quo. It's what you currently have. That's what would continue to be.
Okay. My concern is, Mr. Chair, my question is this. What is occurring right now that's so bad, that's so devastating, where we need the county ordinance to take precedent over city ordinance? Do we have any one example?
Sure. There's an ordinance right now that allows the city to charge county residents 50% surcharge on their sewer utilities.
On the sewer?
Correct.
Okay.
I don't want to.
Yeah, that's just one example. So we have something in place that will supersede that?
So my issue primarily, Commissioners, and I put this map up several times, is this city annexation map. I think I passed it out to you all.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at where annexation's occurring, Commissioner Welch's district, Commissioner Minor, your district, my district, the city continues to annex more property, which means our jurisdiction as county commissioners becomes smaller because of the way the ordinance is. And Commissioner Minor, I don't think this is about who has the biggest stick. Leon County taxpayers and what they voted in the original ordinance gave the city of Tallahassee the stick. And the city of Tallahassee takes that stick and beat up county residents with that stick. They did it in Commissioner Welch's district when they increased the sewer fees. They've done it, they're gonna do it in Woodville when all that sewer is done in Woodville and they control the rates.
Okay,
of
so
those
my
fees.
question is, would we have an ordinance, or do we have an ordinance that would override what they're doing? Or do we envision, I guess, adopting an ordinance that would counter what we dislike about that?
Yeah, I think this is about just us having the ability to legislate county-wide, because right now, when anytime a city resident, anytime property is annexed by the city, we all have lost our jurisdiction, the way the current charter currently sits. And so the way I look at it is like, 50 years from now, right? And we're told by state law, when a developer comes and wants to build more properties, that we have to approve the annexation, right, by state law, if it's a voluntary annexation. So over time, this map is going to get shaded in everywhere, pretty much around Lake Jackson. All that's going to get shaded in. Everywhere from Centerville Road to Thomasville Road, and is all that, and Meridian Road, all that under Bradfordville eventually is going to be annexed in. So when you have this map, this is my opinion. I feel like over time, we're going to lose our ability to really be county commissioners. And what are we going to sit here, vote on a budget and not be able to pass policy? That's my opinion. Again, this is up to the voters, right?
I'm just trying to see if we had some examples of impact that's occurring right now, or that would be more positive for the citizens if this amendment passed as part of our charter.
I think
Would it make the living conditions better for the citizens?
I think it's a level of safety for them.
Okay.
Right now, there is a government across the street that doesn't listen to the people very clearly. And so our hands are tied. Anytime the city wants to say, no, you guys can't do anything about it, it's in city limits.
When it's in the city limits?
Correct. It gives, I think, the citizens like a backup and another government to go to that we can act as a body and pass ordinance if they don't like what's currently going on at City Hall. And so that's why I think it's just important to ask the voters where they stand on amending the charter. Again, the voters voted on this, I think it was 2006, somewhere on there. Some early 2000s. So if the voters want to keep it the same and they're happy, by all means, I think they can do so. But
Well, let
again,
me just ask one other question, Mr. Chair. If we have the agenda item come back and we vote unanimously for it to be on the ballot in November, would we have time to have a public hearing and what have you? This is March now. We would have, you envision that, Mr. County Administrator?
Yeah, please.
So just asking, because what the motion that I heard was for a board-initiated charter amendment. So what would come back is actual ballot language, but then people have been talking about an agenda item. So is the motion for an agenda item, or is it for ballot language? I just want to make sure it's clear.
go ahead, Commissioner Proctor.
If I might, we're trying to get to ballot language, and that was the spirit of what I was asking, that we allow voters in this community to decide what they would.
And I believe Commissioner Minor, you were okay with that because it's going to come back to us to vote on?
Well, yeah, Mr. Chairman, when I said agenda item before, I was implying that the ballot language would be part of that agenda item. But then we would also have a write-up of the implications.
Yeah, that'll come back to us, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Commissioner Maddox has been patiently waiting in the queue. Commissioner Cummings,
Thank
okay.
you.
Okay, Commissioner Maddox cedes his time. Commissioner Proctor.
There was a couple of concerns. I want to make sure that people are not thinking that we're being hot-headed or anything like that. Last year when we were trying to understand the out of the blue 22% increase on county residents, our staff tried hard to say that it was outside the purview of the agreement, fire service agreement. And we capitulated And I think we decided to say, okay, well, don't do it to us for 22%, but maybe, what was it, 10%, 17%. And we had no, we didn't have any moxie, if you will. And so subsequent to that, I believe the mayor made public comments that maybe the county needs to create and form their own fire.
You said we don't understand the fire services.
We said we need to go form our own. Subsequent to that discussion, another round of effort on our part to do due diligence, to be nice and cuddly, friendly and skinning and grinning to the city. Commissioner Williams Cox indicated that it was time for the county and the city to get a divorce. I think I know what divorce means, but that was espoused. There was nothing like, let's sing Kumbaya. We were told it's time to get a divorce. I don't see welcoming, cuddly relations. We've been pushed away. We've been dissed, if you will. And that's the language that we've been treated with. We're just trying to scramble and find our way and to maintain equilibrium for the people that we represent. The difference between a city and a county commissioner is that the county commissioner represents everybody. Everybody in the city and everybody in the county. The city does not have that distinction. They merely represent those who abide within their limits. But all of it is the county's limit. Everyone votes for us. Just a few people who get annexed into the city, which the city cherry picks who is annexed, and therefore who gets a voter's card. They control that territorial expansion. I don't know, Mr. Chairman, Hannibal and Marco Polo and all these people that went to conquer the world, Columbus, what was on their mind. But I am clear what's on our city's mind, and cherry picking who they want to be annexed, as Commissioner Welch's great district. I think the chairman just outlined how most of that will become city. And, Proctor is struggling to get more of his district included, though in the urban services area. It's cherry picked. So I'm looking forward and hope that our board will unanimously understand that when FAMU requested that Althea Gibson's name be placed alongside his campus from Orange Avenue on Wanish Way down to the roundabout on FAMU Way, the city, we supported what FAMU asked for. And the city said we hadn't done enough, and they changed the rules. It said that the county would not be telling them what they couldn't do. So they moved Althea Gibson's name from Bethel AME Church on Wanish and changed Wanish, that part of Wanish, all the way down to Bragg Drive. So it affected my mother's address. I think my mother was a good tennis player, I understand, but she didn't go to Wimbledon and win. So we were forced by the city, and we were told by the city, we run this mofo. That's what we do, we run it. And what we're trying to do is to have, to afford ourselves not to get pushed around and chumped around on issues of which we merely honored FAMU's request, and we didn't go beyond the request. So I hope that we can, if the citizens will arm us to be our voices to matter, our votes to count, then possibly if this is passed by the citizens, it will give us that impact of voice and effect.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner O'Keefe, I want to take this to a vote. Have you spoken on this item yet?
I just have a question on process.
Okay, go ahead.
Is this vote the one, since it's commission initiated, is this vote require the supermajority or the public hearing vote require the supermajority?
It's the public hearing vote, because this is going to come back to you. It's not the final vote.
Thank you.
All right, Commissioners, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes 6-1 with Commissioner Maddox in dissent. Commissioners, any discussion at all relative to charter amendments on this item? I believe it's item, what item was this?
Mr. Chairman, I just
Item number 20?
I'd like to compliment, Mr. Chairman, our staff that work with the Citizens Group, hand in hand. Shington, Vince, Chastity, our technical staff that broadcast the meetings, all of them. It was an environment where there were no dominant players in the room, if you will. It was not lopsided by development interests over environmental interests. It was one of the most level playing fields, an assortment of voices that seemed to have been tolerant of each other's perspectives. And I think our staff set a great tone and temperament through each of those meetings. So kudos to Vince and Chastity and Shington, who were most vocal in those meetings in terms of giving input. And to this county commission, whose patience that we observed didn't jump in and didn't taint the process, if you will. And Chairman, we appreciate the way you've allowed all of this to if you will, to marinate and come forward and parcel out directions that we would go. So we appreciate you too.
Thank you, Commissioner Buckner. I want to make sure everyone feels heard. That's the goal. All right, Commissioners, we are now on consent. And the pulled consent items, we are on item number 4. Mr. County Administrator?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, item number 4 was pulled by Commissioner Proctor, is the Supervisor of Elections proposed alteration of voting precinct boundaries. Again, we're happy to answer any questions you might have. We did have the attendance of Supervisor of Elections office here at one point. I'm looking in the audience. I'm not sure if they're still with us, but anyway, we're happy to answer any questions you might have.
Commissioner Potter, you pulled this item?
I pulled this item, Mr. Chairman, and I was able to speak with the supervisor and indicated that I was sufficiently informed. And largely...
You were what?
Informed as to the 7 precinct changes that he was calling for.
Oh,
and then,
can I get a motion?
So moved.
Staff recommendation, option 1?
Second.
Great. Moved by Commissioner Potter, second by Commissioner Maddox. Go ahead, Commissioner Potter.
Okay, which one are we on?
You want number 4,
Number 4.
Supervisor of Elections.
Thank you. Supervisor of Elections, we had, he presented us with a map, this map indicating in this measure what would be changed and what would be altered. And I told him that in terms of these 7 precincts that are being affected, and we had all of the maps, he provided, thorough information, and I wanted to know what was occurring. And last week in Texas, they held a strange kind of an election, which numbers of people did not know where the precinct was, and they did some swapping up over the precincts. Citizens went to vote. It had been changed, had not been notified. It was just a hot mess. And Supervisor, my question was, you don't have ballot access when you don't know where to go to cast your ballot. And the supervisor indicated that they will be communicating these changes. The precinct numbers are here, the sites of, from the 2024 polling places to the 2026. And I thought that moving from the Calvary Missionary Baptist Church to the FSU Rec Sportsplex, that was one of those traditional FSU polling sites that, might get a teaspoon of folk to show up. But basically, those polls are attended. But he indicated that this would be not the site, which I thought. So those are my questions, Commissioners. I'm comfortable with Mr. Early, that he's going to communicate these changes to all of the voters who will be impacted by precinct changes for 2026 polling. So with that information, I ask that we adopt the motion of staff
Is that it, Commissioner Plattner?
on 4. Yes, sir.
Great. All right, any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, moved by Commissioner Proctor, second by, who seconded the motion? Commissioner Maddox or Commissioner? Signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, passes unanimously. Commissioners, we are now on item 5. Mr. County Administrator, will you introduce the item?
This is a resolution, Commissioners, affirming the county's commitment to treating all individuals with dignity and respect. It was pulled by Commissioner Cummings. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Commissioner Cummings, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I basically pulled this, and I really want us to table it and have it come back. And looking at the resolution, there were some areas, some groups, protected groups that I know that we respect that weren't included, and there's some other general information there that I don't think staff would disagree with.
Is that a motion to table the item?
I can move that we table it and have it come back, Mr. County Administrator.
Great, I'll second that motion.
It's really a nomenclature issue. If you lay it on the table, like it doesn't come back until someone later asks for it to come back. So I think maybe what Commissioner Cummings is asking for is it to just be continued until like a future meeting.
Oh, okay.
To continue it.
So I move that
To
I amend
continue
my
it to a
motion, that
next-
it be continued to a future meeting.
Great, I'll
Excuse me.
second that motion.
Thank you, everybody. And could I just get clarification of when it comes back, what it is to include?
Can it come back next month,
Well, yeah,
in our April meeting?
I'm not good at telepathy, but I think I understand where the commissioner's coming from, if I might. This needs to be enlarged. This needs to be augmented, and the resolution needs to be a little broader, is what the Commissioner is saying, with clearer and stronger language. This is generic boilerplate stuff, and if it's okay with this commission, I'd submit, 2 or 3 graphs to enhance this. So she's asking that it comes back enlarged, enhanced, and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
And it should be open to all commissioners to submit some language to the county attorney.
Cool. All right, Commissioner Minor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate it. I'll support the motion to table. One thing I wanted to do, before I knew Commissioner Cummings was going to table it, I actually had a recommendation to broaden the number of protected classes.
Awesome.
So,
Yes,
because right now,
we're missing.
yes, ma'am. Right now, if you take a look at page 1, lines 12 and 13, it says treating all individuals with dignity and respect, regardless of age, race, creed, or color. What I wanted to do, and I've got copies here I can show you just because it's kind of long. It's treating all individuals with dignity and respect, regardless of age, race, color, creed, religion, sex, gender identity, sexual orientation, national origin, genetic information, or disability. Now, the reason why I list these protected classes is because it's based on the US EEOC website in terms of protected classes. So it's based on what the federal government has in the past, and even to this day includes as its protected classes. So, Madam County Attorney, now that the motion has laid this on the table, could I have a friendly
No,
amendment to lay this
continue.
on the
I'm
table,
sorry.
but to include this?
The language we used was continued, not table.
Continued.
Continued. To be brought back next month, because you
Modified.
said a specific time period, next month.
Yeah, that's fine, and if this language meets with the approval as direction to staff, this is what would be included in the resolution to come back.
Ma'am, would you allow that to be a friendly amendment?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Chairman, I'm done. Thank you.
Oh, great. Go ahead.
Madam Attorney, Mr. Administrator, how does this mesh with 1134 that just passed the legislature?
That measure, if it's approved by the governor, does not become effective until January 1 of 2027. So right now, there's no issue or question that the board could adopt this at the next meeting.
All right, Commissioners, we all good? All right, all those in favor of the motion moved by Commissioner Cummings, second by myself, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously. All right, Commissioners, we are now, let me find my stack.
Number 8.
No, we already did number 8. We are on number 10.
8.
We did 8 earlier. That was
Thank you.
Commissioner Maddox.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, number 10, Commissioners, is your March 2026 Quarterly Economic Dashboard Report, pulled by Commissioner Proctor.
Commissioner, you have the floor. Commissioner Proctor.
Thank you,
Need a
Commissioners.
motion.
Move the adoption of the report.
Second.
Okay. Thank you. I believe that this is such a very, very important measure that it ought to have been made a part of general business. I'd like to recommend that our quarterly economic report, which comes out coinciding with the national report, in particular with the loss of American jobs, that we not put this on consent, but this important economic information is brought to our awareness for general business. I'd like to also add to the motion that our economic quarterly report is made a part of general business, because this is what we provide a lot of investment to make sure that we have.
Cool. Is that an amendment to the motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. I'll second the motion, the amendment, and I'm happy to accept the amendment. Any discussion, Commissioners? Commissioners, one thing I wanted to point out, I wasn't going to bring this up unless that was pulled. If you look at the table, I don't know what page this is on. It's a quarterly economic dashboard, QED, attachment 1. It says page 1 of 2. I don't know if you guys see that. But if you look at, there's an alarming data point I think that we should all keep in front of mind. But it says mortgage foreclosures are up 149% in Leon County in Q4 2025. We're 26% higher than 10-year average, Q4 average of 73 during that time. So I think that we need to just understand what that means locally when it comes to, you know, what some of our residents and families are experiencing, and then relative to our residential real estate market. So it's not a good indicator. All right, Commissioners, motion on the floor moved by Commissioner Proctor, second by myself. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Commissioners, we are on item number 12. Commissioner Proctor. I'm sorry. Introduce item, Mr. County Administrator.
Just that it is a status report on Leon County's efforts related to the Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare 2025 Community Health Needs Assessment. This item was previously requested to appear as a status report on your agenda.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr.
Go ahead, Mr. Carey. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman. Chairman, Commissioners, I believe that this report should be workshop. I know that our
Need a
community.
motion.
So move that we workshop this matter, number 12, and that we that's a motion. Workshop.
Second.
Okay. May I?
Go ahead.
All right. It's been a minute since we've had the health community leaders around the table. And I think that to assess where we are in the absence of Obamacare, the big beautiful bill, the anti-DEI standards now applied to Tallahassee Memorial after tomorrow, the passage of Bill 1130, Senate Bill 1134. We're in a completely post-reconstructive era. And access, you know, we had that discussion tonight about putting health care in our charter as as a foremost concern among people. But I believe that we should have a workshop to take an assessment of where we are, and hopefully to bring HCA to the table and all the major players, providing for the health, safety, and welfare of this community. Our charge that we ought to have a more intricate, detailed understanding of the players, the new names, what they do. So many doctors have left. So many doctors have gone out of business. I mean, I really don't know the strength of our community's health situation. And I'd like for us to please take time to review where are we? Are we stronger because we have a new owner of the hospital? What does that mean because we have new ownership? Those are concerns, and like I know we've done that before, but it's been a long time. So that's the ask.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner O'Keefe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Commissioner Proctor, for that great motion on a workshop. So this report, the reason I asked for the status report is this is an incredible source of information. I got to be a stakeholder as part of it, and the number of responses from the citizens and surveys was greatly expanded by the county staff, putting it at all the libraries and promoting it in our communications. One thing that has been made very clear from this report is, as was mentioned earlier, is over half of Leon County residents said they were unable to get the medical care they needed. And when asked what the biggest barrier to health was, they pointed to high cost of medical services and prescriptions. And then stakeholders ranked social and economic conditions, mental well-being, and chronic disease as the top 3 most important issues we face right now, and citing a fragmented healthcare system and costs. And elsewhere in the report, I actually talked about lack of ability of offices taking new patients. I will say, even after, this is a one-time thing, but when TPCA closed, a lot of my constituents have struggled to find new primary care providers. And those are people with insurance and jobs. And so that is why I think a workshop is a fantastic idea. I will skip the historical story of why this is so important to me, since we heard it earlier. But I have been looking, so what this report shows us is this is economic, this is systemic, this is all parts of society, this is not just doctors and nurses and patients. And it impacts everything we do, since it impacts over half of our community's health. And so I will just plant a seed here that one of the things for a lot of folks that stops them from going to the doctors when they need to is existing medical debt, which is often not their fault. They didn't buy a boat, they didn't get a car they couldn't afford, they didn't lose their job, they just needed to go to the doctor and accrue that debt. Other communities have been removing that barrier, including here in Florida, by working with organizations who buy medical debt for pennies on the dollar and write them off for citizens under a certain income cap. And so I'll be bringing back examples and information about medical debt relief and how that can help families free up their finances to re-enter the economy at a future date. I won't add that to here, but preliminarily, based on the example of other communities, the return is 100 to 1, where perhaps a $500,000 investment by a county can yield up to $50 million in local citizen debt relief to free them up economically and health-wise. So it's something worth considering. We would not be the first, and hopefully we would not be the last, but I'll save that for a possible workshop. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Commissioner Cummings.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a great report. I just want to emphasize, and I look forward to workshop on the information, but I just want to emphasize the work that the county does on an annual basis in addressing the needs, especially of those individuals in our marginalized communities. We know that the Bond community healthcare, the neighborhood health center, and Appalachia as well are three of the major healthcare providers that we contract with, and I'm proud of the fact that we spend just directly with them, close to $2 million annually to provide healthcare services for our needy individuals in our communities. And not only that, we invest in helping those individuals that don't have transportation, because they have mobile units that go to the various communities at certain times and provide direct services to those individuals. So I think this report is timely, especially in light of, as Commissioner Proctor indicated, the sale of TMH that's going on right now. And I think it's good for us to have a snapshot of where we are as far as the needs in the community for healthcare and for continuing healthcare, and for the county to continue to be concerned and involved with providing healthcare to those citizens that wouldn't otherwise be able to afford it through bond community and neighborhood healthcare. Not only that, we are concerned with the mental condition of people in our community, not just adults, but children as well. So we've contracted with Appalachia, and they're doing a good job as well in addressing those needs. So we've taken a holistic approach from the county to address the overall needs of the citizens that, in most instances, do not have health care coverage. So I just want to thank the diligence of the county and our county administrator and those that are involved and concerned about health care in our communities. And thank you again for this report. This is a great eye-opener report, and I think we will be enlightened even more when we have our workshop. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Cummings. Commissioner Proctor, my question is, I guess I'd probably ask you and Commissioner O'Keefe this question, but what is the spirit of the workshop? Is it for informational based, or are we looking for action? Because if it's for information based, I think we could ask for a status report. If it's going to be for action, what does that action look like? I ask this because, listen, if we had an unlimited budget at Leon County, I would want to make sure every person who needs healthcare had the ability to get it, right? But I think we are limited in our capacity of what we can do financially. So that's what is the spirit of what we're looking to try to accomplish?
Well, I think that accountability is important. And I believe that what we've done some previous instances is to understand the scope of who bond serves. Is it the uninsured, the indigent, on a sliding scale, who comes in the door and pay 50 cents, on a sliding scale, who pays $2, who pays $3. Accountability. And it's our job to hold entities, in particular those that we're funding, accountable to tell us, to report what our money goes to undergirding in their services. So action is oftentimes for people to give an account of what they're doing, in particular with our money. That's the first thing. The second thing, there has been a big, huge discussion among three people in this community. The mayor, hospital leader, and the president of Florida State. I really don't think that healthcare impacting the entire community should be a closed door, out of the sunshine conversation. Hell, I want to know who else can be talked to, who else can learn. What is it that three people should know that the rest of us can't? So the exposure, the sunlight on healthcare, its delivery, those who are receiving funds, public dollars, we need to know, and they need to account for what they do. So the action is an accountability session that our questions, if we can question if we have that right, I don't know what we can do no more. If we can still do that, is to do that. And then thirdly, and probably maybe not so profound a measure, is this idea of having a seamless healthcare delivery system. Do we still have a seamless healthcare situation? I stood with the NAACP last Thursday, I believe, at a press conference at Bethel AME Church. And the question was, the agreement between the hospital and FSU, it still does not include a provision that uninsured people and poor people are going to be cared for by the hospital. For some reason, this clause that it was a commitment to include has not been put in ink. So, Mr. Chairman, to your question, accountability is a concern. I believe that it ought to be an expanded healthcare decision on the institutional players beyond three white men in this community. I don't think those three men, as we all are gonna, whatever happens, we in the hands of three people. So, and then the third component that I just mentioned, the seamlessness of a healthcare delivery system that has excluded the voice of HCA altogether. I want to know, I think we deserve to know the public, and if we don't hold accountable these entities, big and small, not-for-profit, for-profit, or whatever, then who will? We know the city won't, because that would be a closed-door conversation led by its mayor, and nobody else can say anything. And so frustrated, Mr. Chairman, has the city become about people wanting to speak on health care, that they've limited the whole meeting to 30 minutes for 300,000 people. So speaking about the county and the city, Mr. Minor, at this dais, lottie-dottie and anybody from the city or from the county can get 3 minutes. When you talk about the city, whatever the number of people that live there, all of them put together get 30 minutes to talk to the city commission.
Commissioner Proctor, I heard they made that policy because they heard you were coming to public comment.
In the morning. Can I get your 3 minutes? So those are to answer your question, those were the concerns that I have. I hope I've been efficient.
All right. Commissioner Keith, you want to add anything different? You want to take it to a vote?
I'll just say Commissioner Proctor and I are coming from a different point, so it may die, and that's fine. I'm coming from action, separate from any of that, separate from any specific entity. We're talking about things that are specific to indigent care, and I want us to talk about the global system affecting all of our community, not just when someone becomes indigent in healthcare. And so it looks like what will happen instead of one workshop is I'm going to read this report, and every meeting I'll come back with a new agenda item for the new policy that comes out of the report for some part of the system that improves things to think more globally. Thank you.
All right, Commissioners, I'm going to take it to
Mr. Chairman, I want to make sure that he understands. I may have used the indigent because we do fund indigent care.
Correct.
But I'm speaking to the universality of
Correct.
the seamless.
Can you restate your
delivery
motion?
of care. Yeah, the motion would be that we would workshop agenda item number 12 and secure stakeholders of healthcare delivery that we might achieve an understanding of where we are with the seamless delivery of healthcare and what is the range of that.
Commissioners, everyone understand the motion on the floor? All those in favor of the motion moved by Commissioner Proctor, second by Commissioner O'Keefe, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. County Administrator, can you introduce us to our last item?
Sure, happy to, and Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I'm glad this item was pulled because it gives me the opportunity to thank not only our staff, but also the consultant that worked with us on this, Richard Darabi, who I see is here with More Bass. Big thanks. This may not seem like the most exciting item in the world, but I could tell you it's one that we've been working on a very long time, and I expect it to win all kinds of national awards. But again, this is important because it does consolidate all the technical references, all of the code compliance issues, all the various standards for infrastructure into one easy-to-use design manual. And again, it's was much needed, and it's going to be a big help for the community. And with that, again, we're just happy to answer any questions you might have.
Who pulled the item?
Pulled by Commissioner Proctor.
Mr. Proctor.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, I want to amplify what County Administrator just said. Chairman, I said we'd be out of here about 8 o'clock, and hell, I didn't lie. You know, we're going to get out of here about 8 o'clock.
You did lie.
But I'm telling us that this is one of the best agenda items that I've seen written to us in a long time. It's clear, it has command. I like this agenda item. And I love paragraph 2 under the background. And it speaks to consolidation, okay? It speaks to consolidation and the unifying of engineering standards. And I love this word. The development of Leon County Infrastructure Engineering Standards and Guidelines Manual originated from the need to consolidate the various standards, code, and technical references that guide the design, review, and public infrastructure projects. And I think that when you look at the various standards, I believe that what we have to look at with the new bus station down on Orange Avenue are engineering standards that the performance of the engineering standards on that bus station got to be done over. Why? Because they don't have a manual like this. People singing off a different songbook. It fell short.
Mr. Proctor, did you move staff recommendation option 1?
I did. But I did so with glowing bells and whistles attached that this was a great, and every now and then, there's a piece of work that shines. This one did, but most of all, it speaks to the unifying of standards, and that's what we're trying to do with county government. And this is what we do. This is what we do. We lift the standard, we raise the bar, and that's what we're going to do in November. Thank you.
Thank you for preaching that, Commissioner Proctor. I have one question, Mr. County Administrator. Is this item going to clean up any outdated infrastructure code and make it easier for us to get stuff done in Leon County?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I needed to hear. Commissioners, all those in favor of support of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Wow, Commissioners, it's 8 o'clock and.
It's 8 o'clock, Mr. Chairman. Did I say 8 o'clock or did I say 8 o'clock?
Yeah, but it's 8 on the dot right now.
Trust
We still
me.
have, we have commissioner discussion. Mr. County Administrator, do you have any business to discuss?
Yes, and we have no speakers, Mr.
Oh, sorry,
Chairman,
no
and that's okay. And also, for me, just a very quick item, I'd like to ask if Commissioner could make a motion for Public Works Week, May 17th for.
So moved.
Thank you very much. That's all I had. I appreciate, thank you, Commissioners.
Motion moved by Commissioner Maddox, second by Commissioner Proctor. Those signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Madam Attorney.
No, I just wanted to thank the members of the commission and staff who were able to come to the meeting where I accepted the Martha Barnett Women Laureates of Achievement Award. I was really honored that you made the time. I know you're all really, really busy, and so I really appreciated that. Thank you.
We're happy to be there to support you, Madam Attorney. All right, Commissioners, we got Commissioner discussion. Commissioner Cummings, you know, I'm always going to start with you every meeting. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I had the pleasure of attending an award ceremony at the Capitol last week for the Florida Division of State Fire Marshals, and our own volunteer firefighter, Carl Hooks, and he had been our local firefighter of the year for 2 consecutive years, but he was recognized as the state volunteer firefighter of 2025. So I would move for a proclamation for him.
Proclamation requested by Commissioner Cummings. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Also, the Capitol Outlook is celebrating 50 years. It's a local newspaper, and they're having a big celebration this week, really. So I'd like for a proclamation
Second.
to be presented at their function and not here.
Is that Thursday or Friday?
It's Thursday at noon
Okay,
at the
good.
Family Life Center.
Yeah.
Proclamation requested by Commissioner Cummings, seconded by Commissioner Proctor. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And then there's one last thing I want to raise with the commission, and I know you all are aware of the memos that have been going back and forth between me and the county attorney. And I raised this here because I can't raise it anyplace else. I can't talk to commissioners because we have to do our business in the sunshine. But after our meeting last month, we all received a memo. It was sent to the board from the county attorney addressing some of the questions that I had asked at our last meeting. I felt that her memorandum was very condescending. I thought it was rude. I thought it was disrespectful. And I responded. And I said as much. I thought it was an attack on me as a commissioner. And in my response, I also indicated to you all that I didn't believe an attack like that would ever have been made to any one of you on this dais, but it was made to me for whatever reason because of questions that I felt that I had the right to ask because it involved expenditure of county funds. But at any rate, you have my response. You have the county attorney's letter, memo that was sent to all of us, but clearly directed to me. Afterwards, I received a letter from the county attorney apologizing, but I noticed it didn't come to all of you all. There was a 3-page letter apologizing and explaining her position. And for the most part, you know, I accept her apology, but it's just almost impossible to accept an apology for something that you know there was deliberate, premeditated attack on you as a person, on your morals, on your dignity, on your integrity. But at any rate, the county attorney asked to meet with me. I agreed, but when she came to meet, she refused to meet because I wanted to have my aide with me. As a policy, as an elected official, I don't meet with anybody without somebody else in the room with me. So we didn't meet, but I believe as an elected official, I can choose who meets with me. I'm raising this now because I believe it's a matter that needs to be advanced before this board. I believe being disrespectful and rude is borderline insubordination. And I believe it should be addressed. As I said in my response, I've never seen anybody on this board, as long as I've been here, attacked like that. And I think Commissioner Proctor and Commissioner Maddox, and maybe Commissioner Minor, have been here longer than any of us. And I don't believe, and I couldn't ask them out of the sunshine, but I don't believe they've ever seen an attack on any other elected official sitting on this dais. So I believe that level of disrespect needed to come before this board. I'd like to hear you all. You saw the letter, you saw the communication, and if you hadn't, I asked my aide to make copies for everybody so you can see the flow back and forth. Sitting on this dais, I've never disrespected anybody. I've always commended the county attorney, the county administrator. I've never been rude or nasty to anybody. And I've never asked any questions that I haven't had the right to ask on behalf of the citizens. So I'm raising it now because I would like to get some input from my fellow elected commissioners here on the dais, because I don't believe anything of that level has ever occurred, and I just don't believe it would occur to any of you all up here, Mr. Chair.
Commissioners, as the chairman during this conflict, I feel obligated to speak on it. I want to lead the conversation by saying that a few people have said to me in my days that sometimes I can say things that maybe I don't intend to be rude or hurtful, and they come off hurtful. I've had actually quite a few people say that to me. Allie tells me that every day. But what's important is it doesn't matter what is the intent of how something is said, it's how someone perceives it or receives the sentiment. So what I mean by that is, Commissioner Cummings, you know that you are dearly loved by myself personally, and I think every single person up here on this board. And I think that you are the example to any professional young woman or young girl out there. And I say that because clearly your feelings, and you feel that your feelings have been hurt and you feel disrespected both publicly and privately. And I think that's not okay, okay? However, I feel like I know the county attorney. I've gotten to know her very well. And I feel like, based on conversations I've had with her as well, that there was no ill will intended for you to feel disrespected, okay? That does not mean you did not interpret it as disrespectful. And so what I would like, how I look at this is, listen, we have a collegiate body, and every single person up here is a distinguished leader. And I would like for this to be some way, somehow resolved privately between you and the county attorney for it to be worked out. I say that because, not saying that it was right or wrong, but I say that because I want the public to know that this body, we work together, and that there's going to be conflict, and that we're going to work through it. And so that is my opinion about that. I feel obligated as the chairman to lead the discussion on it. And I'm not saying what was right or wrong. I will defer to the county attorney next if no other commissioner wants to speak on it. But I know your heart very well, and I feel like I know the county attorney's heart by working with her. And so it doesn't mean it was right. It doesn't mean it was wrong. What matters is how you interpreted what was said. And you interpreted what was said as disrespectful, and you interpreted what was said as you did not appreciate it, and you felt undermined it. And so I would like some way, somehow, for us to be able to work together and get through this. Now, that's my opinion. I'm one commissioner of 7. Again, if no commissioner wants to speak, I'll defer to the county attorney. Any commissioner would like to? Okay, great. Commissioner Proctor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner Cummings, as I guess the senior member here, and probably the one commissioner in all of Leon County's history who is irritated and just simply pissed off more people than any commissioner probably ever. I have said things, that probably hurt everybody's feeling, staff and everybody. And I'm so sorry that you, and I wish there's one of these other fellows up here saying this, because I guess my heart is most tender toward these commissioners. I think my heart is most tender to you because I've known your family forever and have respected your work prior to your being a commissioner and all of those things. And I'm very, very guilty of not always being polished and saying things. And I just somehow, but what I'm happy about is that that you have not swallowed what you felt and how you feel. And that's decent, that's good. But what I'm most optimistic about and hopeful is that the level of your preparation training, as well as Attorney Osteen, that if there's any two people on this dais who share both vertical and horizontal intellect, it's the two of you. You could meet at spaces and places and concepts that we can't meet at. you all can. And I'm optimistic that you, maybe through, Mr. Chairman, I would suggest through your chairman, county administrator holding a sit-down between, because of great spirit and greater mind, and I think that we could reach that understanding. I am empathetic to everything you say because I know who you are, what you stand for. I know how well you're loved at your church and how they feel about you. So, you know, a saintly lady, I believe, more than a commissioner, but a saintly lady. And I'm hopeful that a sit-down between you, that's my hope. You ask what is the direction of this board, is a sit-down. And in this particular building that we're in, people have different sides in this courthouse every day. That's what they do. They have different sides. But y'all lawyers, y'all reconcile, y'all work things out. Public defender, state attorney, they try to strike an agreement. And that's not what you all are, but we work together. And sometimes words, but I believe we can get past the moment. I'm hopeful, and I hope that this moment and how you feel will never occur no more again. And I think that it won't. And if there's one thing about, you know, in our faith tradition, the ability to turn things over, to know that there are things that we can perfect in the future, but things that have happened in the past, we can't. And you and I are not feeling good tonight because of what the state of Florida is taking aim at, this anti-DEI. We're not feeling good in the last several weeks and months. And nobody here maybe is sensitive to that. You grew up in Mississippi. Mississippi, and you know and you feel some ways that I have not been as sensitive to. So I still trust, because I know your great spirit, Commissioner Cummings, that sometimes great Jesse Jackson said that we keep hope alive. The great Jesse Jackson continues to tell us that we may get disrespected, but we are somebody. And no matter what they said across the street, we're somebody. No matter what was said on this dais, we're somebody. And whether the state of Florida, with this new law, whether they order me out the building, you out the building, or Nick Maddox out the building, and from the way I'm reading it, we could be ordered out of this building with what I've seen in this bill. And all these black people out here, all of them could get ordered out if they're interpreted to be some kind of DEI, whatever that is. But if we are, we're still somebody. So you've persevered, and you're carrying the water of generations of people who've persevered. And what Osteen said ain't gonna break you, and what you've got to say is not gonna break her. But Mr. Chairman, I'd like to recommend your leadership to foster and get with the county administrator to see if Commissioner Cummings, if that works with her, can have a sit-down or a series of sit-downs that we can work this out, because we're rich, we're great commission, and the thing about football practice is that sometimes your own teammate tackle you like they're an opponent, and Nick could tell you, you're like, man, you my teammate, we're in practice, and they'll ring your bell. But we're a great commission. We commission with great velocity. We're strong. All of you are very strong. And if something missing, you know, so that's my hope, Commissioner. And I'm holding myself together because I'm painting as you are. But I pray that we can get through the moment. Chairman, work with Vince and get the parties together. And two lawyers know what to do in a room. They always come up with some kind of agreement. Thank you.
Commissioner Maddox and Commissioner Welch would like to say a few things.
Commissioner Proctor, you said some great words. I think since we've been here, we've never seen this. And so the thing that came to mind when I heard Commissioner Cummings speaking was something my mama taught me a long time ago. She said, Nick, doesn't matter how you said it and what you meant to say, everybody's feelings are valid. And if someone says something that makes you feel as though you've been disrespected or hurt by it, your feelings are valid. Commissioner Cummings, I read the letters and I saw the exchange. And quite frankly, I haven't seen it. But I know that you care very much about this board, this county, and the job that you do. I've never seen you ask a question that was disingenuous, a question that wasn't well thought out, that wasn't fighting for the people that you believed in. As I've watched Chastity do her job, and I believe this is your first time being in a position of serving an elected board, right? No?
And I did it right out of law school for several years, but there was a break while I was in state office work. Yeah.
Right. I think she tries to do the best that she can. And in the process of doing the best that we can, sometimes, quite frankly, we make mistakes. But another lesson my mom told me is once words are spoken, you can't take them back. You can't take them back. And there's a lot of things that I wish would have gone different in the way things were handled, but they didn't. And now we sit here having a public conversation about two incredible women that sit on a board. One is elected and one is appointed, that provide a service that we couldn't get from anybody else in this world quite the way they do it. And I think the call for a conversation that can lead to a peaceful ending to this is warranted, because I greatly respect you both. But me, for myself, if you don't hear from anybody else, I apologize that you felt disrespected in that moment by the comments that were made and the way things were handled. Because again, I know your heart and I know what you're trying to do, not only for this board, but for the community that you serve. I do wish that things could have been handled differently, but we're here now. We're here now. And so I hope that we're never in this position again. I will say that. But there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way, because I know the hearts of the people involved, for us all to be able to come together and get through this without another article that read the way it read in Democrat. There's got to be a way. I think if we could take a step back, take a deep breath, and really talk about the issue that we're trying to deal with in a way that respects each other's professionalism, each other's pedigree, the job that you both must do. Because I do believe that you're approaching your job the way you should approach it. You're asking questions that quite frankly represent the interest of the people who are in your community. I got a call today that told me very frankly, a large percentage of the folks in Leon County look just like me, and that there deserve to be a African-American attorney in our county attorney's office. I'm not going to sit here and say I disagree with that, but I'm also not going to sit here and say that I disagree with the fact that if there is an attorney that's African-American that's in our county attorney's office, I want them to be just as qualified and just as thorough as Judge LaShawn Riggins, who left that county attorney's office. Do we need to do more? Is the question that we do more to encourage minority talent to apply? What do we do? Do we do more? Do we go out and recruit? What do we do? What do we do? That's the question. But to ask the question is the right thing. If we don't have anybody, how do we find somebody? And if we don't have 5 candidates every time we have an opening, what do we do to produce that? If she didn't have any, if she had one, out of all the positions that she's had there in the past 3 years, would you say that 1 candidate, 2 candidates, 3 candidates is enough for all the jobs that she's applied, that she's sent out? I wouldn't think so. How many other candidates besides minorities have been a part of that? I think this conversation could have gone a different way. I wish it did. But Commissioner Cummings, your feelings are valid. Again, if nobody else does it, publicly, I apologize for any disrespect that you felt. I apologize for anything that you felt was just disingenuous in the way that you were dealt with. And again, I sincerely hope that we can move on from this and that you two can work this out. But more than that, I hope that we can really not lose the issue that you brought up in the midst of what disrespect you may have felt. In that, on your side, the question is, do we have any minority attorneys in the county attorney's office? And the answer to that question was no. And even if she misspoke and said that nobody applied, if we had 2 people apply, the question is that enough for how many applications that have come in, for how many positions that have passed through the county attorney's office that could have been filled by minority candidates? I say 2 or 3 or anything less than that would not be enough. And I don't know what it takes. I don't know what it takes, but I would love to find out what it takes to have us include more minorities or start some kind of initiative to recruit more minorities to be interested in our county attorney's office. Finally, I'll say, years ago, Commissioner Proctor brought up something similar to our county administrator. You remember that, Bill? It was about 5, 6 years ago. We asked the question of our assistant county managers, how many of them were women? What was the breakdown, minority women, and all that kind of stuff? And Vince brought it before us. We got a chance to look at it, and when we looked at it, we had Wanda, we had Shinkton, we had a good bench coming up. We had black, white, and different. But I bet you if I asked the county administrator, those folks came to us. They were a part of his classes. They saw the job openings. They did this. They did that. There was this pull towards county government in Leon County. Again, my question is, because I really want to focus on the issue. And again, I apologize for what happened, and I hope this apology or whatever needs to happen happens here. Is how do we get to a point that we get that same kind of interest in our county attorney's office from our minority and I would say a diverse group of applicants when it comes to our county attorney's office as we get when it comes to our county administration and other areas within our county. So again, I don't want to prolong it. I don't want to get lost on the issue, but I did want to make the statement that your feelings are valid. Your feelings are valid. And everything that's said in here needed to be addressed, and I apologize. And so, Mr. Chair, those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Maddox. Commissioner Welch?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commissioner Cummings, I think we all sort of share the regretful nature of this situation. Since you and I have been on this board coming in together in 2020, we have had a fantastic cohesion, I would say, amongst ourselves and amongst staff. I think Commissioner Proctor captured it well. I mean, I've inadvertently hurt his feelings. He's inadvertently hurt my feelings, but it's different when it comes from staff. And so that is regretful. And I think we all share that the unfortunateness of the situation. I think that sometimes in families, we have conflict, right? But I do think of us on this half-moon dais here as family. And I don't think anybody feels worse about this than the county attorney. And I would just ask if you can find it in your heart to forgive her, and let's reconcile our differences and move forward as we have successfully. I think that the arrangement or the communication is acknowledged. I just read the apology letter. I think that's a first step in reconciliation in the right direction. I would just ask that you find it in your heart to forgive her, and let's move on professionally, and do the work that we're supposed to be doing. I mean, at the end of the day, we are here as representatives of the people, all of us, really. They're, the executive branch, the vessels through which our policy becomes effective and enacted. And it's incumbent on us to be able to function as healthily as we can. And so I do also want to apologize, and I'm sure everybody wants to say that as well. We have tremendous respect for you, and as a high school teacher, I've been called on the carpet a couple times for saying things I probably shouldn't have said in front of students or in class, and there's no worse feeling, because you feel an obligation to those people to be the best you can, be the best support system you can, but sometimes we make mistakes, and sometimes we make the mistakes in front of the microphone, and that's unfortunate. So all I would say is, I hope that you and the county attorney can find some place in which her contrition can be received by you, and then we can all move on productively. But it is just terribly unfortunate that you have felt targeted, and I want to apologize for that, because that is unfortunate. But I'm hopeful that we can continue doing the good work that we're doing, and work to better communicate in the future so that this hopefully doesn't happen again. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Immediate Pastor. Any other commissioners you'd like to comment on it? No? Madam Attorney?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Though we have not spoken in person, I will publicly say that I very much regret that the memo that I sent offended Commissioner Cummings. I don't play favorites with commissioners, or at least I try not to. But I have always held Commissioner Cummings in very high regard. She is a true servant leader, and she is an esteemed member of this community, and that is for a very good reason. She has earned it. And I respect her immensely professionally. She is a wonderful person. She is a wonderful member of this commission, and that was definitely not my intent, but I definitely offended you, Commissioner Cummings. And I sincerely apologize for that. I tried to explain a little bit what my intent was in my apology letter. And that is, everything in there is absolutely true. But I understand that it made you feel targeted. And though that was not the intent of the memo, your questions were a catalyst, for sure, for the memo, absolutely. But I deliberately sent it to the board in its entirety because the qualifications and things that I consider in hiring were not discussed during the meeting. And that is a logical next question to be asked by this commission and by members of the community. And I wanted to be proactive and very forthcoming about what I consider when I'm hiring people into the county attorney's office. And I would say, because the county deserves it, I have very high standards for the people who work in this office, just like Vince does for administrative staff. And I genuinely try to pick the most qualified candidate to fill a particular position based on the candidate pools that I have at any given time. And so I do also want to, I have talked with each of the commissioners individually because I wanted to reach out to each of you individually because if I had offended Commissioner Cummings, I might have offended each of you too. And I wanted to talk with you about that if I had. And I've closed all those loops. But I also do want to apologize to the board that this has even become an issue, that this has now taken time from the work and detracted from the work that this commission does. And I apologize for my part in that and my role in that. And I have taken all of your comments to heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Attorney. Commissioner Cummings, do you have anything else you'd like to say? Okay. Commissioners, I do hope, closing that we can move past from this and we get to a resolution where everyone's in a good place. So, Commissioner Cummings, I hope you feel heard, and I hope that with time that you will be forgiving and we'll be able to move forward from this position right now. Do you have any other business you'd like to discuss? Okay. Commissioner Minor, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Matt, would you mind bringing up that Safe Sense slide? I wanted to bring up some training that Leon County staff are working with some local partners about regarding scams. In Florida, in 2024, Florida was third in the number of cybersecurity complaints, and we were number one in the country in the number of fraud issues per 100,000 people. So what this training does, and it's free training available to anyone in Leon County. Lunch is provided on March 26th at 11:30 a.m. at the Leon County Main Library. This training will help you as a person in the digital world avoid scams. It'll help you avoid identity theft. It'll help you learn how to use AI effectively and safely. With AI, the scams are becoming ever more sophisticated. In the not too distant future, we will hear of videos made of people using real images that were then created into videos, real audio that is then changed into fabricating that person's voice, and then having that video sent to that person's loved ones asking for money urgently. That's going to happen soon. That will be commonplace in the near future. What this training will do is help you start to be more aware of what's coming, and also to identify the red flags when you see something either on your phone in a text message, an email, on the web, anything like that. It's really important because there are a lot of people out there that are trying to scam you and your loved ones out of money. And soon, it's actually happening right now, there's actually not a person behind that doing it. It's AI doing that for and on behalf of people that want to take your money from you. So in addition to that, it's also going to help you learn how to use AI more effectively. You know, I think how many of you all have used ChatGPT or Claude? A few, yeah. It can be very helpful, but there are drawbacks, and this training will help you learn what those drawbacks are. It's a very quickly changing field, but this training will help you kind of be more aware of what's coming. So hopefully you can join us. Everyone here in this room, I think, would benefit from the training. Anyone that's watching right now at home would benefit by coming to the training on March 26th. So to sign up, go to the, what's the URL? It's leoncountyfl.gov/safesense. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate it.
Got it, Commissioner. Mr. Vice Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Commissioner Minor, that's very important. I appreciate you not sending that link in an email to everybody. That would be a trigger for spam. And thank you for that. Everyone's been touched by that. My aunt actually would have thousands gone if she didn't have cell network at the ATM they were trying to convert. Anyways, thank you for doing that. I'm hoping everybody goes. I just have one thing. I'd like to request a proclamation recognizing the work of the Leon County Humane Society for 65 years of promoting the welfare of animals, rescue, rehabilitation, and providing low-cost food and animal care for folks who can't do otherwise.
I'll second that. Motion to move for a proclamation requested by the Vice Chairman, second by myself. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
That it? Mr. Proctor.
Mr. Chairman, I have a heavy heart, and I love Commissioner Cummings, and I love your mother, Mother Davis. I love all your family, and I'm really not in this. I had some things, but I'm not in the spirit of talking right now. I'm regretting the passage of Senate Bill 1134. This is not a great day in the history of Florida. What has occurred. And on that note, love you, Carol.
Commissioner Welch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have nothing tonight.
Commissioner Maddox, you got any business?
Two proclamations. Request proclamation for Jamarion P. Moore Mortuary and Cremation Services. Yeah, they just opened up in Tallahassee. I want to request a proclamation for him, please.
Second. Proclamation requested by Commissioner Maddox, seconded by myself. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Request for proclamation for the Fairview Middle School basketball team division champions. They were undefeated.
Wow. Nice. I'll second that.
Commissioner Proctor, if we can get it done fast enough, the thing we're doing this week is for football specifically, or is it for all the? Specifically football.
Is it
Okay. But it'll be given off-site. The proclamation for basketball.
Great. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Mr. Chair, I want to tell you, you navigated a heck of a meeting today and got us out of here before 9 o'clock. And we had 5, 6 consent items and talked about consolidation and all kind of charter amendments, and you led us through it. And so for that, job well done, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner. Listen, I have a lot more respect for those who chair these meetings because there's a lot of stuff moving back and forth, and especially in a meeting like today when you have options 1A, 2A, 3A, and I got, stuff. So anyways, Commissioners, I appreciate it. It's a team effort, and this, having an efficient meeting like this, it's important for me. I really do want to make sure everyone feels heard and feels like if there's something important to them that they have the ability to debate it. I think that's what keeps the spirit of our body very collegial, and so I've been trying really hard to maintain that.
I want to thank staff. They are here with us till 8:45, 9 o'clock when we do these things. So I want to thank them for their patience. And the people who came and spoke today in the CRC committee who did a heck of a job sending us back stuff. I want to thank them as well. And so, good meeting, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Hold on one second. Yes, sir.
Just on that note, I do need to give a shout out to Shington Lamy, who was the child's high school principal for a day a couple weeks back. He came and visited my classroom.
Yeah.
He wanted to know where the paddle was at. I told him we don't do corporal punishment no more. This ain't the 90s. But he seemed disappointed. So, but hey, I think he got to write some referrals, so it was all good.
I just want to put on record that Alpha Phi Alpha is not a hazing organization. I just want to put that on record.
Did he give you the day off?
Yeah, no, he didn't sign my leave slip, bro. I'm going to hold that against you.
Mr. Chair, I did forget one thing. March 2nd was Nicholas Gerard Maddox II's birthday. He turned 7, so happy birthday, Deuce.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Is he a junior?
He is a junior.
Happy birthday, junior. There we go. Nice. Mr. County Administrator, I noticed on our calendar that we have a workshop scheduled for the 24th. Does staff need that workshop?
Do not.
Okay, great. So commissioners, no workshop on the 24th. I do want to, I forgot to disclose, Madam Attorney, on the quasi-judicial item. I meant to disclose on the record, so I want to put it on the record. On the last Thursday, I had a meeting at Stearns Weaver to discuss this item. And then later that day, I believe it was 2 o'clock, I had a call with St. Joe to discuss this item as well. So I want the record to reflect that since it was quasi-judicial. I meant to bring that up during the item. I want to give a thank you to Commissioner Minor. Last Saturday, we had the I don't know how many annual forest cleanup that Ms. Sharon Gray out in my district in Southwest Leon. She hosts every year on a Saturday morning and at the end of February. Great turnout, Commissioner Minor. I appreciate you being there. I mean, we've picked up so much trash every year on this, and it's supported by Leon County and so many individual partners. So thank you all, and thanks for the support from staff for making sure that they have all the items and trash supplies that are needed. Commissioners, this was a very robust meeting. We talked about, I mean, so many different items, and I appreciate the collegiality and everyone working together, moving forward on it. If there's any other business to discuss, we will stand adjourned.
If you have siblings, you know there's that special something you share with each of them. With my younger sister Shelby, it's Broadway music.